Welcome to Speaking of Horses once again. We're backstage just before the Cowboy Symposium starts here in Winterset during the centennial celebration for John Wayne. Mr. A.C. Lyles again with Paramount. Welcome, and
thank you.
You're going to be on the panel here in a little bit.
I am, but first I have to tell you, I watched you yesterday introducing those in the parade, the units, and they had switched positions from the script they gave you, and you had to ad-lib some. I was amazed standing there by you how you knew still from your memory and look at it and what was coming in and how you could describe that and tell the names of the people on that float when you weren't watching your script. You were marvelous at that, and I stood there and just was in awe of how you did that. Particularly, I was in awe after you said the wonderful things about me when I arrived.
Well, thank you very much for that, and I've done a lot of events where scripts come up on a little bit. They don't come like they come in Hollywood. They come on notepads from hotel rooms and all of this, and they say, here, you can read that, right? And pretty soon you learn to just get through it, okay? So thank you very much for that. But how are you enjoying your weekend here?
I tell you, number one, I'm living. And at my age, 89, any day is a good day. It's like Wayne, it's like when I get off of an airplane and someone comes over and says, AC, how was your flight? I'm back on land. It was a great flight.
Yeah, you know, I was on a flight just the other day. I was doing an event in Albuquerque. I was flying back. We landed in Minneapolis. The pilot came on and announced it was his last flight because he was retiring. So we walk off the plane. We all signed a piece of paper and gave it to him.
Oh, that's great.
Everybody on the airplane signed it for him for his last flight. Walked off, and there's a bunch of pilots there with, happy retirement John or whatever. And I said, well, he's coming, I know. And they said, well, how was the landing? I said, it was good. He said, a good landing is when you walk away from. All right. A great landing is when you can use the airplane again. So it just cracked me up.
I took a flight on TWA time, and the fellow on it had been there for years, and he did something I'd never seen before. He arrived early, and he passed out USA Today, all the people boarding, and all the way across he would sing to you. He tried to imitate Bing Crosby. And I was on one of his flights once, and it was his anniversary, and his wife was on the flight, and all the way across he told a story about how they had met, and he sang songs that they did on their honeymoon and things. It was wonderful. It was great.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, we're glad to have you back and join us. We did an interview Friday night.
Yes, sir.
You're gathering backstage here, and we're talking to Dean Smith and Ed Faulkner and Greg Palmer and all of the different people that are gathered, and you were there, and we had to talk to you again.
Well, I tell you, it's a pleasure, and I'm just so honored to be on the panel with all of my good friends, but particularly talking about Duke. As I said the other day, people say, why do you call him the Duke? I couldn't call him the John. And he is, he's really one of, any place you go in the United States, I don't know if I said this before, but all you have to say United States and where I've been, even in Japan, China, Russia, you say Duke, they know you're talking about John Wayne. And that's the only person I know in our business. Maybe when you say Bogey, it's Humphrey Bogart. But Duke Wayne, I think, was an inspiration to America and to the youth of America. And he made all of us feel happy to be Americans. He brought patriotism back in our hearts. And when you saw a John Wayne picture, Wayne, you wanted to be on his side because it was the good against the evil, and the good was going to win out, and John Wayne was going to be there charging him. And I tell you, in person and as a friend, it was the same way it was on the screen. He was very commanding of your attention and very commanding of your friendship, but also extremely warm and extremely friendly with all of us. And we'd have lunch together, and we'd be around the studio a lot. And I'm very privileged that being at Paramount since I was on my 10th birthday, 79 years, to do what I love doing, making movies, working with all of these wonderful people. Thank you. I can't tell you much.
AC, thank you.
That includes you.
Oh, I appreciate that very much.
And that pretty lady behind
the pretty lady behind the camera.
Absolutely.
Great. AC, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For Speaking of Horses, Wayne Williams at the Cowboy Symposium.